Facebook has started tagging photos a little while back that were AI generated with the label made with AI, right? Seems pretty straightforward. But they've actually just recently changed that, and that's because of a backlash from photographers, right? And what happened is that basically a lot of the photos that were being tagged as made with AI were actually not made with AI. They were enhanced by AI. And the photographers were complaining that their real photos were being tagged as made with AI, and that sort of devalued their work. So now that very clear made with AI label has been replaced with this completely incomprehensible AI info label. And to me, this speaks to, the complexity, the murk, the messiness in all of this, where this idea that I think I still had until I read this article, that, either things are AI generated or not AI generated, is complete nonsense, right? Like even, your phone camera is using a whole lot of technology that you could very arguably consider to be AI to produce the photo.
I mean, Photoshop. We've had Photoshop for decades.
Right.
Instagram filters.
So what is real? What is not real? So I think that's been there for a while. But now the idea of like saying, okay, we have a hard line dividing AI and not AI is clearly falling apart. And you project that into the future and everything's going to be a bit AI. AI is going to have its fingerprints on everything. So what do we do about that?
I remember a session that Eric Schmidt did internally in Google, and he said AI is a transparent technology. You don't say I have an AI-powered car. You say my car drives automatically. You don't say my camera is AI-powered. It said it takes great shots, because AI is an empowering technology that is adjusted to what you're trying to do. When AI is done right, you don't know it's AI. I agree with you 100%. Most of what we do today, from taking a photo to recording, it's all done with the assistance of AI. But I think there's a distinction between, like, is this 100% created by AI? And right now, you can tell, like, I can tell ChatGPT to create a totally new image, and maybe it's the intervention of a human in creation of that photo. Or maybe it's like, is this something that is generated completely through a pipeline of AI, or it has a base in reality? I don't know what the answer is, but you're absolutely right. 90% of the photos that are being created in this year are AI augmented.
I think we're going to end up with different categories where this matters more versus less. So, for example, no one matters if on Instagram someone like takes their wrinkles out a little bit, right? In Zoom, there's a function that literally says, touch up my face.
We don't need that though, guys.
Yeah, right. That doesn't change the fundamental message or messenger. But then if someone did a deep fake of President Biden saying we're under attack by the USSR, either audio or video, now, holy cow, now you're talking about some real dangerous stuff. I don't exactly know how to form like clear conceptual categories yet, but there's going to have to be some categorization because everything is not the same. And we've already been doing some of this for a while, like you said, Amir. But it's going to have to get sorted out because I'll give you an example. I'm a board member of a public company. I sold some shares and they report that in the public financials, and they had an AI website read the financials to get it wrong by a factor of 10x. And then they publish it. So then a public shareholder sees a wrong number and trades on that basis. Holy cow. And I was like, who do I complain to? I complain to an AI website. There are going to be some more dangerous use cases that are going to have to be talked about. Then some things we're just going to have to let go.
Yeah, here's a fascinating thing for me is back in high school and university, I studied a bit of philosophy, and philosophy was this funny thing where you had these deep discussions about what's the meaning of reality and what's real and what's not and what can you know and what even counts as knowledge. And it was sort of a fun intellectual parlor game, but it was quite disconnected from how anyone lived their lives, right? And then you get out into the real world where real stuff happens and none of that matters. And I feel like the sort of discussion we just had and the sort of discussions that, the AI safety people have been having and so on are more and more treading in the realm of, okay, actually, this sort of very abstract philosophy about what it means to be human and what it means to be real and so on is suddenly clashing into the real world with billions, trillions of dollars at stake. And I've never seen anything like it before. It's just going to be a really weird few years as we try to sort through all of this.
Yeah, we need to redefine ownership and creativity and our relationship with software.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
We're going to have to redefine authenticity. That's what I mean. Like, I think it's easy to say there's a big difference between having a photo with some wrinkles removed and having a deep fake of President Biden saying we've been under attack by the USSR, which, speaking of the events of the last week or so, the fact the USSR hasn't existed for 30 years is, would actually go into that commentary. But I think the point is that I actually worry that there is no clear dividing line between those two things. There is just a slow progression of just raw pixels and then complete fakery and just a very smooth continuum in between. And wherever you draw the boundary, it's going to create weird artifacts. And so, yeah, it's kind of a scary world we're moving into. But I think it's clear that, some of the simple stuff about saying, oh, we'll label AI content and stuff, Facebook Meta is already pulling back from that. And that seemed like such a simple, easy thing to do. It's it's just labeling. Well, even the labeling is impossible. So I think we're going to be living with a lot of ambiguity, a lot of confusion for a long time to come.